I'm on a quest to read every Star Wars novel ever written because each one is unique and special, and I just finished an audiobook of Clone Wars Gambit Stealth by Karen Miller. The first book in a duology set during the titular Clone Wars, this book follows Obi-Wan and Anakin on an undercover mission as they seek to discover what has Count Dooku interested in an unremarkable Outer Rim planet called Lantebe. It's also apparently a follow-up to the Republic Commando books, which I did not know going into it, and this is a good place for me to comment on how dense and confusing the EU can be at times. Even as a dedicated fan who tries to make sense of everything and puts a lot of research into ensuring that I'm reading everything in the right order, it's easy to miss stuff because things can loop back around on themselves and double down at times. There are times when I understand why Disney just wiped the slate clean, but despite some clear references to events I wasn't familiar with, it wasn't a confusing book to read. And to begin with, I want to say that this is a surprisingly great character study on Anakin. It may even be one of my favorite portrayals of Anakin series-wide. His rapport with the clones shines through beautifully, and it makes use of his love of machines to a degree that not many projects do. His love of Padme, his struggle with the loss of his mother, and even the memory of what he did to the Tuskens on Tatooine are all weaved fantastically into the story in ways that don't feel forced, but just feel like natural parts of who Anakin is. Because of that, I think that this book makes a fantastic lead-up to the Revenge of the Sith novel, which is the basis of everything that I enjoy in Star Wars. I will say I'm a bit less thrilled about the characterization of Obi-Wan. While not bad, overall the author does a good job capturing him. There's just one moment that doesn't sit right with me. The scene where Obi-Wan very earnestly tries to convince a woman that she should kill herself doesn't feel quite right to me. And while I understand and appreciate the moral dilemma that the author was trying to introduce, I think old Ben came down just a little bit too hard on that side of the fence. Mace Windu or even Yoda I could see being a bit more on the side that Ben falls on, but Obi-Wan is supposed to be better. Another interesting thing about this book is that Ahsoka and Captain Rex are in it. A lot of Clone Wars books were written before the TV show came out and were more in line with the movies, so Ahsoka and Rex didn't exist yet. But they're both in this one, they're both portrayed fairly well, and Ahsoka gets a nice little side arc. Now I do mean little though. She's here, but she's fairly insignificant, and I'm listening to the second book in the duology as I'm writing this, and it seems like she may play a bigger role in that one, but that's not what we're talking about here. I think she could have just gotten a little bit more. Maybe more on the level of Bail Organa, who gets a nice amount of focus in this book, and I really like the way that he's characterized. It's really nice seeing how close Bail has become to the Jedi, and Obi-Wan in particular. Their friendship being so strong before the fall of the Jedi helps to really inform how he'll talk about Obi-Wan in particular to Leia as she's growing up, and it adds some nice supporting material to A New Hope or even to Kenobi. Obviously, this isn't technically canon as a precursor to the TV show, but I don't really care about that. The last thing I'll mention is that this book introduces a love interest for Obi-Wan, a fellow Jedi named Taria Damson, which is particularly funny because this book released in February of 2010, just 1 month after the first appearance of Satine Kryze in the Clone Wars. So separately, but at the same time, we introduced two distinct love interests for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Honestly though, is anyone surprised that Obi-Wan has women all over the galaxy? Look at him. Overall, Stealth was a very nice read, although it is only half the story, which is pretty unusual for Star Wars. There's only, I think, 2 or 3 times that it's really cut in half. Normally you do like A New Hope, where yes, it's a third of the overall story, but it's a complete narrative in its own. So this one, my review is really going to be based on how good the second half is. For now, I'd say a 7 out of 10.